Greetings, YouTube. Daigahou. I'm Tony Chang, also known as Tony Creator on DeviantArt. Today I have with me Transformers Generations Combiner Wars Voyager class Motormaster. Try saying that 5 times. I bought him for about $14 at my local discount store downtown. I also saw Onslaught and Battlecore Optimus on the shelf, but I could only afford one figure, and I wanted the figure to be as big as possible for Voyager. Battlecore Optimus would have been a good choice as well, but I already have 2 larger primes at home. No need for a Voyager prime. Anyway, I'll give a quick turnaround. Many Transformers fans know by now that Motormaster and Combiner Wars Optimus Prime both share the same mold. For those who don't know, long story short, Motormaster and Optimus are essentially lookalikes but with different paint and some variations in their plastic. Since I don't plan on buying Combiner Wars Optimus, I must beg forgiveness for not doing comparisons. Motormaster's truck mode is about 6.5 inches long, 3 inches wide, and about 3¼ inches tall, right up to the smokestacks. That size is more than adequate for a Voyager class alt mode these days. For you car enthusiasts, and I happen to know a few, let's get a better look at his truck mode. Motormaster is not a monster truck, but we might as well pretend that he is one in the review. He's a chunky, flat-nosed truck that has plenty of paint and is molded very well. The truck seems to show very few gaps and is as solid as you can expect. Fans of Transformers also know that the front and the sides of this truck mode look slightly different than Optimus's truck mode. The grille in the front is molded differently and has a small Decepticon symbol to show Motormaster's loyalties. The sides have 2 purple stripes each, adding some needed variety in his paint job. The back of the truck has some kibble. The lower body panel for Menasor's combined mode, and Motormaster's weapons pegged into one of the ports, but they're easily ignored since they stay secured when pegged in. Here's the collector's card that came out of the box. Nice artwork of Motormaster here, even though he looks very different than how he looks as a figure. Still, kudos to whoever created this image in the first place. I certainly miss creating artwork of my own. I'm on hiatus, but that's another story. Let's get down to transformation, shall we? First, remove the weapons from the back of Motormaster's truck mode. Turn the truck around. Flip these 2 panels towards the front. Take the truck. Use your thumb to push on one side of this panel to reveal Motormaster's head. Make sure that the panel snaps back into place. Once again, use your thumb to push the back panel out a little. Now, take your thumbs and separate these panels from the tabs at the legs of Motormaster. Now try to completely separate the arms, like you see on screen. This splits the front half of the truck in 2. Now you can extend the arms, flip these panels, and then spread the arms out. Be sure to tab the shoulders into place. Oh, don't forget to flip that panel back down. Flip the toes forward. Now this is a little tricky. You have to move this hinge joint in order to make Motormaster's torso there you go. Rotate the upper legs, straighten the knees. Rotate the forearms. And now split the legs, like so. And then extend these hinge joints, and then peg the panel back there. Now you have Motormaster in his robot mode. In robot mode, Motormaster is massive, boxy, and chunky. His large body certainly gives clues about who he is as a character. He'd sooner beat you into a pulp than pat you on the back. Motormaster's and Combiner Wars Optimus's lower body and forearms still share the same mold, but Motormaster pulls off the look much better thanks to being a selfish brute in the franchise. As usual, here's a turnaround. Motormaster comes with a blaster and a sword, both painted silver. They happened to have been pegged in side by side, since they had to also be pegged onto his truck mode without taking too much room. Split them apart and you can twist the weapons into each hand. I said twist, because the holes in Motormaster's fists are barely wide enough for the weapons to fit into them. Another feature, you can attach the sword into the back of the blaster to make an even bigger sword. Just place the sword hilt and the ridge right next to the handle into their respective slots, like so. The larger sword is usually for Menasor, but Motormaster looks more menacing holding that blade anyway. The sword will flop around if you shake the figure though. Motormaster's articulation, ball jointed head, shoulder swivel, can go 360, biceps, swivel, double elbow joints, hinged. This can swivel all the way back, but that's mainly for transformation. Waist, swivel. Hips on a ratchet. Knee hinge. Thigh swivel. Toes can point outward on a hinge. As you can see, Motormaster is quite versatile, and he can stand fairly well thanks to his very, very large feet. The only figure in my collection who Motormaster can almost stand head-to-head with is Garrick Wildspeaker from Magic the Gathering The Legacy Collection. Motormaster stands at 7¼ inches tall, while Garrick stands at 7½ inches tall. Of course, we Transformers fans know that this scale is off. Sure, Garrick is taller than most humans thanks to being 8 feet tall, but Motormaster should be as tall as most 2- to 3-story buildings. Based on their backstories, these two fellas are somewhat alike. They both seem to believe that their might makes right. The difference? Garrick actually respected animal companions who fought alongside him before he was cursed. Motormaster? He's an a-hole to everyone except Megatron, since Megatron is usually the most powerful Khan. That should go without saying, though. I'll transform Motormaster into Menasor's torso mode, even though I don't have the other deluxe figures needed to complete Menasor. As you saw, rotate the head back inside. Rotate the biceps. and then try to hinge the elbows in a way so that the panels will tab into the sides of Motormaster's chest, as you just saw. Takes a bit of doing though. Once again, transforming figures is a bit tricky since there are times when I can't see what I'm doing. Finally! I forgot to show one additional step. You're supposed to flip Motormaster's hands back so that deluxe class figures will have room to connect into them. Rotate the waist and turn the entire figure around. Hinge Menasor's crotch piece down and then open the chest pieces. As you just saw, hinge the gray chest piece up to reveal Menasor's head, and then rotate Menasor's horns up. Rotate Motormaster's thighs 90 degrees. Ratchet the hips out by 2 clicks. Then bend the knees. Flip up these panels that are supposed to peg into Motormaster's thighs, like so. Don't know if I've completely tabbed them in, since I couldn't see what I was doing. Accordion Menasor's crotch piece down. And there you have Menasor's torso mode. Menasor's torso mode looks pretty decent and well detailed. No surprise there. Unfortunately, I can't go over his articulation because I still don't have the necessary components needed to form him. I do like how Menasor's head still resembles Motormaster's head, but with horned headgear. Not much more than I can add. Before finishing this review, I have to give some shoutouts to fellow toy reviewers / YouTubers EJG12, T-Man978, and D-Bag Robot Gang. Watching videos from these guys made me proud to be a collector, despite that I still buy figures at reduced prices. Another shout out goes to Robo from the Fwoosh, since his reviews of a Johnny Goldmane and Liliana Vess were partially why I bought figures from Funko's Legacy Collection line. Last but not least, a mention should go to fellow YouTuber Runningbear SF. He happens to buy from the same discount store where I found Motormaster and a Johnny Goldmane this year. Links to the channels that I mentioned will be in the description below. This has been my review of Motormaster from Transformers Generations Combiner Wars. I'm Tony, also known as Tony Creator on DeviantArt. Feel free to comment and all that. Be sure to visit my DeviantArt page. I'll leave a link in the description down below as usual. Thanks again for watching. Dogin.